Hey everybody, Billy Bob here, and let's get these off. I had these on earlier. I was listening to Bogsy, the OHL podcast. They're doing their preview. We're kind of overlapping just a little bit here, I think, because I think Bogsy's on till 11:30. I invited him to come on the show, and the Wild Man, and but everybody's got obligations, right? So maybe we'll get him on as the show goes on. But this was kind of, I'm going to say, hastily thrown together. And when I say hastily, I mean, I've been in my office since 7:30, 7:45, working on stuff. And I'm not even fully prepared. I'm only going to talk about, I just want to help educate the uneducated, right? A little bit of this, a little bit of that, get people somewhat conversant in the games you're going to see today. So we'll give everybody a few minutes to hop on, and that'll probably repeat myself, but that's okay. We're about, let's see, how far are we? About 10 seconds behind on the on Facebook Live here. So, but we'll give it a couple minutes. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood here in Southwest Florida. We're there we go. Sometimes I don't know if that makes it easier or harder for me to see, but I can see. If not, I got my readers. I need to get those anti-glare readers. What was that? Look at that. There's glare right. Oh, that's the sun showing through. So I don't know. Let's see here. I know Foxy Bob's out and about with Nikki Doodle, his oldest daughter, doing some errands. I know Acoustic Larry's on the road to his brother Harry's, and but I think he's listening in. We got Patrick Green. He's up in Ohio, up in the Natty. Actually, Anderson, Ohio, visiting Mama, and I think his sister. But I think so. Hey, if you need any Ohio State stuff or other teams, if Ohio State or the Cleveland Browns or the Bengals aren't your team, I recommend you go to Marion, Ohio. Some might say that's a little bit of a travel. That's okay. Day trips. Go to Marion, Ohio, and see Chris the Wildman Wilds and his family's store, or I think his brother. Anyway, I know the Wildman's there. It's called Ohio State and a whole lot more. Maybe Wildman, if he jumps on, he'll or if he makes a comment, he can let me know. Jake Blazik, Jake's on, says it's minus 13, or not minus, it's 13 degrees in Northeast Ohio. The question, Jake, is are you in Northeast Ohio or are you in Orlando? That is the question, my friend. Let's see. Maybe I should do, no, I don't want to do it that way. Let's see. Can I do this? Set my phone like that? Yeah, that way I could see it a little better. See the comments. So like I said, we're about 10 seconds behind or something. So take Jake a minute to figure out. Maybe he won't even know where he is. I mean, who knows what his last night was, right? So he's in Northeast Ohio. Hey, Jake, if you want to come on, you want to talk football? He said, I asked him the other day, I said, is he fully conversant? Is he fully aware of the games going on? And he said, not so much. He follows the Buckeyes. But you know what? I follow the Buckeyes. I'm as conversant or as knowledgeable as the paperwork right in front of me. So if Jake or anybody else that is going to be on or wants to be on, I put the link to the Restream app in the comments. Okay. So if you have an interest in coming on, talking about the games, sharing what you know, correcting what I don't know, more than welcome to do that. And so in the very first comment in this video is the Restream Studio link. So if you do that, if you click on that, I'll see you pop up and we can put you on. Only two requirements I have. Number one is no swearing. I'm only the one allowed to do that. And number two, get dressed, have some clothes on. Okay. I don't care if they're your pajamas, but at least be dressed. No topless, no bottomless. You got to be dressed. All right. So Jake says he's tired about hearing about the fans of teams saying, oh, we would beat this team by 3 touchdowns. Which team? Is that the Buckeyes? Beating the Buckeyes by 3 touchdowns? I don't know. So we got 3 games today, right? We got 3 games. We have at noon, we have Miami and Texas A&M. We have at 3:30, we have Tulane and Ole Miss. And then the evening game, which I hope I see it all, is Oregon and JMU. And quite honestly, that game could be over by halftime, but who knows? There's a lot of these teams that group of 5 teams that have some pretty good talent in their first string. And so it's a question of, it's really a question of how deep are they? Do they have deep depth, or do they just have first string talent? Second string falls off quite a bit. And at that point, you can last a half, maybe 2.5 quarters, but then you just get worn down because the other team rotating guys in and out. He's talking about Bama. Bama would beat Indiana, beat IU by 3 touchdowns. Well, guess what? We're going to find out on New Year's Day in the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl. Ha! Just think if JMU had the guy. Yeah. Well, Jake says, just wait. Just think if JMU had the guys at Indiana. Well, yeah, because when Curt Cignetti left, he poached. That's what it is. He poached. He convinced, or the players decided they wanted to go. There were, I believe it was 15 total guys. So, Jake, you don't want to come on? You don't want to hit the restream link? You don't, I mean, your text, he may be camera shy. You could come on and talk. You don't have to put the camera on. I mean, maybe he doesn't want to get dressed. I don't know. Do I need these? I don't know. Let's try them just for the hell of it. All right. We probably ought to get into these games here because I'm going to try and be done. I'm going to try and be done by game time, which is noon for the first game, which is Miami and Texas A&M. Okay, so Texas A&M, the game is the game's on ABC. It's at noon Eastern time, which is 11 o'clock Central, and we are talking about College Station, Texas A&M's home field, home of the 12th man. Kyle Field. The weather's going to be about 69 at game time. It'll go up to 72. Really nice temperature-wise, but it's going to be windy. And you got two guys that maybe aren't as accurate or maybe not as great at making decisions as they could or should be. So the winds are going to be 16 to 17 miles an hour throughout the game. That'll be out of the south-southwest, probably why it's warmer there. A&M's a 3-point favorite. The over and under is 48.5. And here we go. Hold on. Maybe we got Jake here. See, I got him on without camera, right? Hey, Jake, how are you?
I'm fine.
All right. So I was just saying here. So the last meeting between Miami and Texas A&M was September 9th, 2023, and Miami won that game 48-33. We're just previewing the game here, the noon game. You there? Kind of not catching you if you're talking to me or. Got your mic cranked up there. There's a picture of Jake. There you go. Now we got to get your volume going, Jake. You're warbling on me.
I haven't said anything yet.
Oh, well, that's the problem. Say something, damn it.
Something.
All right.
Damn it.
Damn it. We got Kevin Spitzer's on watching on the. So we're previewing the first game here, and so I'm going to give some stats, and then we'll get your input on this Miami A&M
Shall I get
game.
rid of the echo?
Okay. Yeah, turn down whatever else you got on. So while you're doing that, I'm going to keep on going with some stats here. So Miami is ranked 26th in college football on yards per game. They're third in the ACC. Their defense is ranked 10th in the FBS and first in the ACC. Rushing game, they're 70. They're not a great rushing team. They're 78th in college football, 8th in the ACC. But their defense is number 7 and first in the ACC. Now, passing, they're much better. They're 16th in college football, first in the ACC. And their defense against the pass is 24th and first in the ACC. Points per game, their offense is scoring 34 points a game, so they're 20th and second in the ACC. And then their defense, very good defense, 13.8 points per game, sixth in college football, first in the ACC. Any thoughts on that, Jake?
Well, what was Oklahoma last night? What were their ranking?
You know what?
Underachieved. They were one of the top defenses.
They were one of the top. I did not go back, and even now I froze up. There we go. I did not go back because I didn't preview that game last night, so I didn't go back. I know they're one of the top defenses. Bama actually had a pretty good defense. It was supposed to be really a defensive struggle, right? But that's the way the ACC goes, or I mean the SEC. Defensive struggles end up being 30-plus points.
Yeah, because Alabama, their rushing attack was lowly ranked, and they overachieved running the ball. I think that's why they won the game.
Well, I thought they
the
won the game because of special teams, they and Mateer's pick six, you know,
I
John
didn't
Mateer
watch the
was
first half. I was watching the Cavs.
well. So, and I missed part of the first quarter. I nodded, and then I woke up and watched the rest of the whole game. But Oklahoma's up 17-0. Bama gets a field goal. Then the Oklahoma kicker, the punter, is punting from about the 50, but he literally, as he was going to kick, it's kind of like the Ohio State game a few weeks ago. I forgot who the opponent was. Maybe it was Penn State or whoever it was. The kicker dropped the ball. I mean, he didn't even kick it. He just dropped the freaking ball. And so Bama recovered it. They go down and score. Now it's 17-10. The next series, they come out, and Mateer is not on the same page with his receiver. His receiver runs a go. He thinks he's running a hitch. He throws the ball to the sideline, pick six, game tied. Alabama, by the way, had -3 yards rushing at the half, and they were tied.
In the second half, they were able to run the ball.
Actually, maybe 2 plays. One play was like a 30-yard run. The other was maybe 10. They ran it a little bit, but Oklahoma couldn't do squat. And it's unbelievable how many guys on both sides of the ball receivers drop the ball. It's just crazy. So, hey, here we go. Let's talk about where are we here? Texas A&M, where they're ranked. So yards per game, they had 449 yards a game. They're 17th in college football, 4th in the SEC. Their defense, I thought they were a little better than this. They're still really good, 284 yards a game, 16th in college football, 5th in the SEC. Rushing, they average 192 yards a game, 26th in college football. They're actually second in the SEC in running the ball. And then defensively, they give up 127 yards a game, which isn't a lot, but that's ranked still 38th in college football, 9th in the SEC. Passing, 256 yards. They're 27th in college football, 5th but their defense only gives up 157 yards, 15th in college football and 3rd in the SEC. And lastly, points per game. They score 36. So they're 14th there, 4th in the SEC, but they give up a decent number of points. They give up 22 points a game. So they're 40th in college football and 9th in the SEC. So, Miami, certainly better defense by 8 points a game. And Miami scores about the same. So both of these teams, Jake, they kind of were going in different directions at the end of the year, at least the way I saw it. I'd like to get your opinion. But I saw A&M, they're down 27 against South Carolina. Yeah, they came back and won. Should have never come back and won. You got to, South Carolina just imploded. And then they lost to Texas. I forgot the game in between that they won. But then Miami kind of righted their ship, and they closed out the season on a positive note.
I think the difference is going to be quarterback play.
Okay. Which quarterback do you think will prevail? Which one do you think is going to
Texas A&M?
You think Marcel Reed? And he was terrible. I mean, or as
terrible against Texas.
Terrible. And he was terrible against South Carolina.
He was great.
Well, second half. The first half, he was garbage. Now, Carson Beck, I kind of look at Carson Beck like the way I used to talk about Baker Mayfield. I said Baker Mayfield was the little girl with the curl. Either, when he was good, he was really good, and when he was bad, he's bad. And that's what I seen out of Carson Beck. What say you?
Well, he's got a lot of experience, and I want to see how Fletcher does, the old Buckeye commit that ended up decommitting and going to Miami, the
Um,
running back.
the running back, let's see,
Fletcher.
where is he yeah, Mark Fletcher. He's got 685 yards, leading rusher for Miami, followed by the kid who transferred in from North Dakota State, Charmar Brown. Who's,
But the
got
receiver
about,
for Miami's really good.
yes, the freshman,
That
Malachi
should be a
Tony.
senior in high school.
Yes, he's what's he, about 5'9" or something, I think, little guy, but man, he is quick. And then they got, I'm not as familiar with the second receiver, the number 2 guy, Keelan Marion, but then CJ Daniels, a big kid, transferred. He was at LSU, and then he was at Liberty before he came to Miami. So he's one of those corner fade guys. Yeah, Beck. I mean, if Beck gets hurt, there is no backup. The backup's got 156 yards of passing. So, and I guess the same could be said for Marcel Reed, because their backup Miles O'Neill's got 120 yards passing. So I did pull up some of their defense for this game, some of the defense stuff. A&M, they got a guy, Cassius Howell, defensive end, got 11 and a half sacks on the year. By far, of all these teams, by far the most sacks of anybody.
Is he a Jimbo recruit?
He is a he's a redshirt senior transfer. And I did not look up where he transferred in from. So no, he would not be. Most of the guys that are the strength of A&M's defense are transfers, so they're non-Jimbo guys that I would say. You got their leading tackler is Torian York, their middle linebacker. They got another defensive end with 4.5 sacks, and a linebacker 3.5. But those would be the strength of their defense. Miami, I'm a little more familiar with. This kid Ruben Bain, he's a moose at left defensive end, 4.5 sacks. Their main sack man is Akeem Mesidor, who's got 7. And then they got another guy, 4.5 sacks. But
what's he, an edge rusher?
Yeah, Bain and Mesidor are edge. They got a kid who middle linebacker or weak side linebacker who transferred from Rutgers. He was really good at Rutgers. I haven't heard as much about him, Mohamed Toure. But those are the heart of that team. Who do you want to play? I mean, we're going to know at 4 o'clock.
I think A&M's going to win.
You think A&M's going to win? So it doesn't matter who you want to play. That's who we're going to play. Right?
Right.
All right. You think A&M's going to win. That brings us to, that would be effectively a home game for A&M in the Cotton Bowl. College Station.
Isn't that where we played Texas last year?
It is. So we played in the Cotton Bowl. Quite honestly, if we played in the Cotton Bowl, or we will have played in the Cotton Bowl 3 years in a row. Because we played Missouri in the Cotton Bowl, maybe Misery. That's what the game was, the Buckeye fans, Misery. Then we played Texas, and now Austin's only about 2 hours away. College Station's about 3 hours away from Jerry's World. So. All right. Well, let's go on to game number 2. Game number 2 is a 3:30 game. It's Ole Miss and Tulane. Games at 3:30 on TNT and True. It's at Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi. temperature is going to be 64 at game time. But by near the end of the game, it's going to drop all the way down into the mid 50s. Winds 10 miles an hour to start the game, and then southwest. The winds actually will be dying down to about 4 miles an hour out of the south near the end of the game.
Well, look at the trend in the SEC. The teams that played the second time, the team that lost the first game won the second.
Of course, that's
Alabama,
SEC
Georgia,
teams.
Oklahoma,
Right.
Bama.
Right, but Tulane's not an SEC team, right?
Well, the SEC teams that played a second time, I'm talking about.
So I'll give you.
There's much talent difference.
Right. And I was actually talking about that. I don't know if you're on. I was talking about the talent. Like your first string talent sometimes isn't that dissimilar, but it's when you start going deeper. Hey, we got Mike Reiner on, Mike Drake. Hey, Mike Drake. I hope you're feeling better. Mike had some challenges he was going through, and Bradford Sanders. I haven't seen Bradford in a long time. But anyway, Ole Miss 16.5-point underdog. The over and under is 57.5. That's a big number. That's the biggest number of all three. And the last meeting, to your point, Jake, Mississippi, Ole Miss 45, Tulane 10. And that was just earlier this year, September 20th of this year. So,
and that had to be at Ole Miss also.
They're not playing Tulane in New Orleans Stadium revenue.
Unless they do a 3-game contract like Alabama did with USF.
True.
They played 2 at Bama and 1 in Tampa.
And that's possible. I don't know that dynamic. But here's so Tulane, they're 33rd yards per game. They're 33rd in college football. I'm just going to go college football. I'm not going to go within their conference. But their defense is 62nd, giving up 350 yards a game. Rushing wise, they're 57th and ranked. Defensively, they're 30th ranked, giving up 120 yards. Passing, they're 49th at 235 yards. And defensively, they're giving up almost exactly the same number of yards, and they're 120th against the pass, which is probably not good when you're playing against a guy like Trinidad Chambliss. Points per game, 57th on offense and 50th on defense. So
sounds like a blowout.
Yeah. And yet we're only at 17.5. Conversely, and here's where when you say that, Jake, this will kind of back up what you're saying. We got Larry Daniels on. Larry's on the road. But Ole Miss, number 1 total offense yards per game in college football. Defensively, they're 37th. Rushing, they're only 30th, but passing, they're 3rd. Overall points per game, they're 11th. And now their defense against the rush, they're 68th. Against the pass, they're 23rd. And overall points, they're 24th. So that kind of puts you in puts it right in your comment of it sounds like a blowout. So, so they're scoring 37 points a game, but only giving up 20. So yeah, their stars are Trinidad Chambliss, their quarterback, Kewan Lacey, is their top rusher, 1,200 yards, and then Harrison Wallace III. Now, am I correct? Is that Harrison Wallace III? Is that a kid who transferred from Penn State to Ole Miss?
I'm not sure, but I know that Chambliss was second team at the beginning of the year, and the first teamer got hurt. And
right.
He came from a smaller school.
He came from Ferris State, which I believe is in that state up north.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Ferris State. I believe that's where it's from. So let me see here. What are we talking about? Who was I asking about? Harrison Wallace III. If I can find it. So give me some good commentary while I'm looking this up here. If you got any more commentary on this.
Well, it's going to be a blowout.
Well, we'll have
Competition,
plenty
they
of
didn't
time to
have
go to
good
the
stats
bathroom.
against.
All right. So I got something on this blowout while I'm looking this up. On the blowout side of things, um, there's speculating, and this is probably pretty true, that these guys, if it is a blowout, they'll rest their starters maybe even as early as middle of the third or beginning of the third quarter. Miss or the next game here in a minute. Um, Transfers. Harrison Wallace the third. Interestingly enough, now is this an indictment on Penn State? Because Wallace the third is transferred from Penn State. He is the leading receiver for Ole Miss, who is one of the better passing teams. And yet, Penn State, over the last few years, has not been able to generate a passing attack or develop wide receivers. It's interesting, at least to me.
Well, it's a new environment.
Well, I mean, Jesus, the guys. But even this year, Penn State, they brought guys in, right, and they haven't been able
It was
to.
supposed to be good.
Yeah, they haven't been able to develop them.
But the quarterback digressed too. Where's he from in Ohio? The quarterback.
Medina, Ohio. I don't know what I lost part of my paperwork. All right, so let's talk about, here we are defensively for these two teams. Tulane, the guys to watch. Santana Hopper, he's a defensive tackle, got 4.5 sacks. Their top sack man is Harvey Dyson. He's got 7. And I don't know what a BAN is. Do you know what a BAN is?
That's his position?
Yeah, BAN.
I don't know.
So he's got to be a defensive end because they only list one defensive end. So we're going to classify him as whatever they want, but he's a defensive end. Their leading tackler is Jack Shenchow. He's a free safety. I don't know that it's always good when your free safety is the leading tackler. We've had that in a couple of our poor defensive years, right, where the safety was the leading tackler.
Yeah.
Now there's
even
their top
this year,
line.
Caleb Downs wasn't one of the leading tacklers,
right?
Although he never missed a tackle.
That's true. I'm not sure who the leading tackler on the Buckeyes was. If it was Sonny, or I know Jalen McLean was in a lot of tackles. But then they have a weak side linebacker, Chris Rogers, not Will Rogers. Chris Rogers, who's a junior, another transfer. I mean, when you look at these lineups, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 transfers on the first team defense for Tulane. And then on the second, they're too deep. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on there. So a lot of these teams, it's funny, they talked about Ohio State, the nil money, the transfers, all this stuff. And we don't have nearly the transfers or the nil money spent that some of these other schools have.
This year especially. The new AD got into that. He combined the collectives, so there's only one now.
Yeah, and is that it must be the foundation, right? Because I don't see much from the 1870s society anymore.
Yeah, he come in and he's got control of it, and then they have to approve anything over $750.
Jesus, that's like meal money.
They get that in high school now in Ohio. They just voted
Yeah.
that in.
Yep. Yep. So Larry Daniels says, "I'm in. Go Miami." All right. He's rooting for the Canes.
Does he live in
Um,
Florida?
well, he does, but he's a Buckeye. I went to high school with Larry, also known as Acoustic Larry. So for Ole Miss, they've got a guy. What did I write down here? Oh, yeah. So their leading sack guy is Princewell Umamalian. Okay, that's it. I'm sure I butchered that. And then interestingly enough, their nose tackles, the number 2 guy, sack man, 4.5. Their leading tackler is a kid named TJ Dottery, 77 tackles. And then looks like Sertain Perkins is their number 2 guy with 64. So those are some guys to watch there. And again, you talk transfers. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 starters for Ole Miss that have transferred into that program, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I mean, it's crazy. I mean, we're talking just the defense, 14 transfers in the 2 deep, and we already talked about their quarterback is a transfer in. Their leading receiver is a transfer in. I know nothing about where Lacey came from. So,
Well, how many top 100 high school players are there in Mississippi? Now,
probably,
Louisiana, they have some.
yeah, I don't know Mississippi. I can't tell you that. You asked the question, maybe you should have the answer.
There aren't any.
Yeah.
I had a friend, his daughter was recruited to play volleyball at Ole Miss, and he said you can't go there because their mascot looks like Colonel Sanders.
You can't go there. To Ole Miss?
Yeah. So she went to ULM, Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah. The Raging that's the Raging Cajuns. They're
That's
in
they're not. They're in northern Louisiana. Their colors are maroon and gold.
oh no, the Raging Cajuns are red and white. They're down in Lafayette, Louisiana. So, all right. So what do we got here? Let me get focused. Stay focused, Billy Bob. All right. Missing a page. Where are we going?
It's just
here we
the
go.
big thing about that game is how long it'll take Ole Miss to score. Will it be 1 minute, 2 minutes?
I think it depends who gets the ball first.
Well, they're going to take the ball real fast too. They're not going to give up much.
All right. Acoustic Larry says, if A&M Miami's a hard-fought game, he's happy. He really doesn't want A&M to have a home game advantage against the Buckeyes. The good news, Larry, is that the Buckeyes travel. This is the first playoff game, and so that's where a lot of people are going to travel. I know my brother's there because my goddaughter, his youngest daughter, who graduated from Ohio State and works for Southwest Airlines, is based in Dallas, and so they'll be down there for the game. There'll be a lot of Buckeyes. We've actually played A&M in Texas before and beat them pretty handily in the Cotton Bowl, right?
Carsados was the quarterback.
Jim Carsados.
We played Texas A&M when Cooper was the coach.
The Greek Freak.
And he got hurt in the first exhibition game when he played for the Dolphins and never played again.
Sounds like a trend for the Dolphins. All right, so here we go. Game number 3. It's on TNT and True. So ESPN sold off a couple of these games. At 7:30 Eastern time. It's at Autzen Stadium, one of the loudest stadiums in college football, but it only holds about 56,000 people. But they have the roof that comes out over the upper deck and holds the sound in. temperature wise, going to be 43 at game time, maybe dip down to 41. The winds are no factor at all, 3 to 4 miles an hour out of the southeast. Oregon's a 21.5-point favorite. Ironically, they must not figure James Madison is going to score because the over-under is 48.5. And these two teams, as far as I know, have never met before. So we'll give you some quick stats on offense, defense. Let's see here. Oregon.
Oregon has a lot of transfers.
Yeah, I'll get the. And I don't know on their offense, but I know they. So, okay. Let's see.
QB was from Michigan. He went to UCLA, and now he's transferred. He started at UCLA, and then he got benched, and he transferred to sit 1 year at Oregon.
Yep.
And now he's the top 5 draft picks in all the mock drafts.
Yeah, Dante Moore, who was dinged up a little bit earlier this year. I'm trying to find oh, there we go. There's that. So let's see here. So Oregon, they're 13th overall yards per game and they're 6th. Their defense is 6th in yards given up, 239 a game. Running the ball, they're pretty darn good, 218 yards a game, 13th in college football. And their defense only gives up 107 a game, which is 20th. Passing, they're actually ranked better running the ball than passing. They're 239 yards, 45th in college football. They're third, though, against the pass. And then points per game, 38 a game, 9th in college football. And they only give up 14.8, which is 8th in college football. So
who's the receiver that Oregon has that everybody thought was going to Ohio State? Then he committed to Oregon. Is he more too?
Yeah, he is. And I'm not sure if he's healthy. I forgot. I didn't get a chance to look up the injuries. He's been injured quite a bit. That's Decorian Moore. He's actually their third leading receiver this year, I think probably because he's been hurt. But all their guys are pretty even as far as receiving yards. Malik Benson, 526. Kenyon Sadiq, 490. I believe Sadiq's a transfer in too. I'm not 100% sure. But
what about the guy that his dad played Ohio State and he committed to Oregon last year? Did he play at all?
Not
safety
sure.
or cornerback?
I have to look at that in a minute here, Jake. Let's see. So, give you some quick stats on James Madison. They're actually first in almost every category in the Sun Belt Conference. Definitely first in every category on defense. But and again, the competition. I think the toughest team James Madison played all year. I'm pretty sure it was Louisville.
And they beat them, didn't they?
I don't remember. I don't remember if that was their only loss because I believe they're 11-1, correct? 12-1.
Louisville beat Miami, did they?
Louisville beat Miami. Yes. Louisville and SMU are the two teams that beat Miami. So, against their competition, James Madison's pretty good, but, their competition is suspect, which is why the over-under is 21.5. So let's take a look here. Now, where did I just put that damn paper? So, their leading passer is a guy named Alonzo Barrett III. Their leading rusher is Wayne Knight. He's got 1,200 yards, but then their receivers, they got three guys, Landon Ellis, 540 yards, Nick DeGennaro, 410, and Wayne Knight, 379. I think the important thing about JMU, whether they win or not or get smoked or not, is that the coach came in after they got poached by Signetti, and they still kept winning. So that's kind of what I look at with them.
And they also moved up recently to FBS. They used to be FCS.
Yes. So I think the guy you're talking about, I didn't know his dad played at Ohio State, but I think the guy you're talking about is Naeem Offord. True freshman.
It wasn't him.
He was committed to Ohio State. Oh, I know who you're talking about. It's Richard. I think his first name was Richard McNutt.
Yeah.
Played at Ohio State. His son, Trey. Yeah, he's a
he was like from Solon.
Safety. Don't have that info here, but yeah.
Did he play?
He's third on the depth chart. Third at strong safety. So I don't know that he played much at all. So, but there's a couple guys. I mean, so you could talk about him. You could talk about, there's another kid who originally, I don't know if he didn't go to Ohio State, but he was on the list too. He was a commit at one time. Dorian Brew, who was a cornerback. But their top guys, they're Jack linebacker, Tatum Tuioti. He's got 7 sacks. But their defensive end, edge guy, Mateo Uyungale.
Yeah, he was between Oregon and Ohio State. His brother was a quarterback that transferred from Clemson to Florida State.
Yeah, DJ Uyungale. See, it only took me 4 years or so to be able to say Ungale, but it only took me 2 years to say Iamaliava. See,
how about Tua?
Well. Tua Tagovailoa.
I don't even try to say it.
Now, the one guy I can't get is the guy I should get right off, and that's JT. I guess it's Tuimoelau. Tuimoelau? But they got a big kid. I'm trying to remember where this kid came from. Alabama, not Alabama, Georgia. Bear Alexander, right? Didn't he transfer in from Georgia?
Not sure.
So, and then they got Amari Washington. Their leading tacklers, their middle linebacker, Bryce Bechter, 104. That's a lot of work. That dude's got 104 tackles on the year. So
how does Oregon get all these? Their recruiting classes are high. They get a bunch of guys from the portal. But
so when they ironically, go ahead.
They play the teams that are ranked as high as they are, they lose.
So Oregon, of their starters, they only have 3 transfers. Bear Alexander, Dylan Thielman, who's their second leading tackler, and he's in their leading pick man, Dylan Thielman, who's a free safety. And then they've got Jaden Canada and Brandon Finley. So now their second, they actually are very light on their defensive side because they only have 2 transfers on their 2 deep. So total of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 3. Total of 5 transfers on their 2 deep defense. Total 2 deep.
What time's the first game start? It's noon already.
Oh, it started. Jesus. Well, you know what, Jake? We got to get out of here because
turn the game on.
I planned this so I'd be done by noon, and I need to be done.
Talking
now. The game hasn't started. You know that because they got to talk a lot, like me. But anyway, hey, I appreciate you joining. I hope everybody enjoyed us. If you didn't, we'll do better the next time. We'll do better the next time. Jake, Merry Christmas up in Northeast Ohio. Merry Christmas. Each and every. Thank you. Merry Christmas to each and every one of you that watched or will watch this, because it will be available on YouTube and on our Facebook page, Billy Bob's Backyard Podcast. America.
Go Bucks.
Land of the free. Go Bucks. America. Land of the free because of the brave. Stay focused, America. Billy Bob, peace out.